And we're back at it again. After a week off, we're back. We're here for you guys, and we're ready to get going. We got some awesome podcasts lined up for you guys after this one, but first, we got today's episode. We're going to go over what we did over the last 2 weeks of our lives a little bit. We're going to talk who won last week's song nomination, song of the week. Who knows? Was it Garrett? Was it me? We'll see soon. Give our nominations, talk pet peeves, get our shouts like usual, and we're actually going to have some controversial topics during that scene, during that, whatever you call it, that segment.
Yeah.
And then we got an interview with Nathan Waak.
Waak. Still can't pronounce.
I still can't. I'm the worst with names, guys. Yeah, this was a walk in the park of an interview.
Yeah, Nathan is a coworker of mine. I went to engineering school with at Oakland, so he's been through a lot of injuries, and he is probably one of the busiest men alive. So him having time to work out is just a testament to how your priorities can really control what your life is. So yeah. It's a good listen.
Yeah, he's a constant listener. Always reaches out. Always gives us a like on all the social media. Pushes our names out there for other people. So we thank him, and we had him on, and he gave us a little bit of a comeback story of his own, which worked well within 2 weeks ago with our episode when we talked about comebacks.
Yeah, definitely.
But so the last 2 weeks, what's been going on in the world? In the lifting world, at least, there was the CrossFit Games. Matt Frazier won his 4th straight. Claire Toomey won her 3rd straight. So it's kind of becoming like a Golden State Warriors kind of scene over there.
Yeah, he's dominant.
Yeah, those guys are sick. Like there's one of the workouts, he snatched 385 pounds.
I think it was clean.
Or clean, yes, not snatch. Wow, snatch would be crazy.
That'd be nuts.
Yeah.
No, I did see that video. I think that was the clinching lift. Was that?
Yeah, that's when he won with.
Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever attempted 225. So.
Yeah, I haven't gone much higher than that. So that's impressive stuff. And you're such a well-rounded athlete to be at that point. So just the amount of other things that he could do is just insane.
Yeah, and then after that, we took over OU's Instagram last week, a little over a week ago actually, and that went great. So if we have new listeners this week, welcome. If you came from there, what's up, guys? If you see us at the gym, make sure you come say hey. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the listen. This is Garrett, and I'm Noah. So I
think Noah's legs got us a lot of followers. So
I think the booty did. I wore the all-white outfit, the short shorts, like. I made sure Evan, he was my videographer during the workout. I was like, Evan, make sure you get the butt in there, you know?
Yeah, he went
do it for the girls.
Straight Instagrammer status on the workout. So
yeah, you're up there too.
No, I just mean the style of workout.
Oh yeah, like that has more than 4 exercises. Because that's all yours had.
Hey man, training for strength. Don't want to wear it out too much. So.
I kind of felt like a jerk because it was both of us posting Instagram stories that day, but I had substantially more simply because of my workout was probably, I think it was 9 overall exercises, and Garrett's only had 4. And so for each exercise, we did a video for it, and mine was double the length of his.
Yeah, I mean, mine was probably like 15 sets, which is not abnormal. So it is what it is, though.
Yeah.
Not going to be the style that everybody will train, but if that's what you're into, then definitely something you could give a try. So.
No, I enjoyed actually seeing that your workout compared to mine because I was just dead tired. Mine took like 2.5 hours because leg days usually take the longest. But then you go in there, you do yours, and like you're just as exhausted as I was, but it's just so different.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's very demanding, but it's demanding for such a shorter amount of time. Noah's doing sets of 20 to 30, especially when he's supersetting, and I'm doing singles. It's just a totally different ball game, and just training for a totally different end result. So it's cool to be able to contrast both, though, like we were. So that was, I thought, one of the most beneficial things.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys were able to watch it. If you weren't, you didn't get it. You didn't get the sick content we laid out all that day. We actually posted my workout that we're talking about on our page. So if you're interested in a quad-focused hypertrophy workout, go to our page and save it and come back to it next time you want to try it out, and then let us know how it went. And I think we're going to start doing that more and more often, of giving you guys workouts on our Instagram. Some of them are going to be strength training focused. Others are going to be hypertrophy. Hell, who knows? Maybe we'll dabble in some yoga,
Big maybe.
Big maybe. But also, mobility's a big deal,
Yeah. So we have some really exciting guests coming up. We're in the process of booking right now.
That's what we took that week off this past week, because it's kind of like working out, right? Like, you can't just go. You got to give yourself some breaks, some time to recover, it's time to like recoup and like readjust and set goals. So that's kind of what we did, and we're super excited because we got some like kind of like big names coming.
Yeah.
No
we
spoilers.
don't want to talk too much about it just because we're still in the process of getting things scheduled, and sometimes it takes longer than it should. If Maria's listening, it took us like 4 months to schedule Maria, so...
Let's be real, Maria's not listening, so...
She said she does.
I'm just kidding. We love you, Maria. Yeah, so those are going to be coming up pretty quick, but so be on the lookout for those. Hopefully we'll have one of those down before next week's episode. Otherwise, you'll just be stuck with us the whole episode.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
Who would want that? Yikes. No, other than that, the only other thing I can think of that happened over the last 2 weeks that we've been gone was like preseason football started, and I'm kind of super excited.
Yeah.
You know what really got me going was watching like the highlights of like the preseason football and seeing the Jets coach on the sideline of a preseason football game take some smelling salts, just like smell it in. His eyes rolled back in his head like it was like getting his fix in, and then just toss it away and went back to his old his old duties.
Adam Gase is a legend for that. So we got the smelling salts out today.
We do.
Because I mean, sometimes you just need a little boot.
You need a little boot.
Yeah.
Like today was a slow Sunday for both of us. I spent like 8 hours doing homework directly into this, so my brain was fried, and I was like, you know what, Garrett, judge me. I don't care. I'm busting out my ammonia, and here we are. If I'm not hype enough,
just a slap in the face, really. That's all it is.
Yeah, just like those powerlifters, how they like to do it. Just get smacked in the face.
Yeah.
No, but I get this from Amazon, actually. If you're ever wondering where you get this, I just Googled smelling salts on Amazon, and this one's like the most highly rated, and I knew Garrett already had it, so I kind of copied him. But it's called Zone.
Yeah, I've liked that one. That one usually lasts, like a bottle will last like 4 or 5 months, depending on how much you use it. Also, like Elite FTS, you can get some on there that are like $5 or $6. They're a little bit cheaper than those. I don't know how long those ones last though, but
yeah, I know a lot of people have the tablets, which are
the packets. Yeah, the little packets.
You only use it once, but at the same time, like it's strong.
They're super strong, but I think they're more expensive per use probably because
for the volume you get.
You only get to use them once, so
totally. But yeah, so then other than that, let's go into Song of the Week.
Yeah.
Who won this past week of Song of the Week? It was a pretty close.
No, it was
pretty close voting.
It was not close. It was not close.
No?
I won in a landslide. We knew that was going to happen going in.
We really didn't though. You even hyped me up and said, I think Noah has a chance of winning. And then when you said that, it was like 80% to 20%. Like it was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. I felt a little bit bad. I think Noah should win one of these times.
Stop. Don't feel bad. It's a competition, all right?
He's gonna suck.
I'm not here I'm not here to get the gratification of winning every week, I'm here for the gratification of our listeners. Like we're adding quality music to their song selections. So within the gym, their playlists. And so you're welcome, honestly.
All right, so you don't care about winning, but let's go to your song this week.
I'm just saying I care more about you guys than I care about getting a win over Garrett, because apparently most of the people that vote on Instagram, like, they just have shitty taste in music, I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't have to call you out, but I'm just calling out the people that voted. The people that didn't vote, that I'm sure, like, write it down, add it, and they just, like, don't see it on Instagram come Thursday. I'm not calling you out. You guys are golden.
That's not how you get votes, right?
What do you mean?
By telling the voters that they're stupid. That's not how you get votes.
Listen, I have a degree in psychology. This is reverse psychology, all right? That's actually not true. The degree is true, but I probably shouldn't be calling you guys shitbags or anything like that.
Yeah. All right, Mr. I don't care about winning.
I don't care about winning.
What's your song this week?
My song nomination this week, Garrett's going to say I'm doing this only to win. But I'm not, because this is actually the song I specifically chose last week when I went to PR on Squat. And it went quite well. But it's Money in the Grave by our man Drake, featuring Rick Ross. So like, get hyped. This one's a great one. Like, comes on, you got little dance moves going, right? Back and forth, keep it right here. But then, right when the beat comes, right when the drop comes, like you're set, you're in the zone, you're ready to lift that weight sky high.
I'm sure nobody's ever
Break
heard.
records.
I'm sure no one's ever heard this song before.
Oh, you've never heard of Drake?
I'm saying the whole point of this is to introduce new songs to people. I don't think anybody listens to Drake, so they probably.
I'm just
never
saying,
heard this song.
I'm doing this because it helped me break a PR by 50 pounds. So that's a pretty big leap. So it probably was a big variable.
Yeah,
You know?
not bad for warm-up weight. That's not bad.
Yeah. Warm weight today? Guess what? I'm coming for you, 500.
Yeah.
There's a couple weeks ago where I was like, yeah, get lost. Like, I'll never squat 500. But it's coming.
Oh yeah. Once you start getting the ball, within 50 pounds or so, you start.
No, yeah. I have an itch for it now. Like, it's happening. I'm gonna be training for it.
He's gonna be a powerlifter before. I'm gonna say the end of 2020. He'll compete. That's my guess. So we'll see.
I want to bet on that, but feel free to.
Yeah, if he starts training on the reverse hyper, gets that back all strengthened up, so he's not going to break it again, then he'll be powerlifting by 2020. So
But let's be real, I'm not getting on the reverse hyper, so
you should.
I'm just kidding. What's your nomination this week?
Be Legendary by Pop Evil. You haven't heard the song?
I'm sure I have.
Great song. Just about being sweet. I know how much you like that, so.
Being sweet? You looked at my tattoo while you said that.
No, it's a great song. Get you hyped up, get you motivated. Pop Evil's great. Saw him in concert. He was opening up for somebody last summer that I was seeing. So
Yeah, you get in that mosh pit?
no
Death
mosh
Circle?
pit. It was like opener status, so the crowd was pretty sparse, but he was good. I think he's from Michigan too, so
I'm sick. That's so cool.
check him
I'm
out.
from Michigan, so.
Good song.
Alright, so come Thursday, those are going to be on a voting tally on Instagram on our story. So if you have any care in the world about Garrett, or you give any care in the world about myself, go out there and support your boys. Alright? Not just support us for who we are, but support the best song of the week. Which song really gets your blood going? So that's going down on Thursday. Go vote.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just have a really quick pet peeve this week. Like, we don't do pet peeves every single week, but this week I felt like it was every day, just in my face. Like, I just got pissed off almost every time. Like, probably because I feel bad because my friends are working and I know them. I'm like, these people have to go back and like makes your job a lot worse.
Yeah.
But if you're at the gym, put your fucking weight back. Like, why are you walking away and leaving like 5 plates on each side of the bar and going home? Like, first you weren't even moving it, so probably take the weight off to start with. Start with lighter weight because you can't lift that much. But if you can't lift it, when you're done with it, just take it off, take the weight off the bar, and put it back where it goes, so that the girls that work there don't have to go then take the weight off for you and put it back because you were too weak.
Yeah, I know I've seen pictures of signs from gyms that say, like, if the weights are too heavy for you to put back, feel free to ask one of the girls that worked here for help, and they'll assist you in moving them. So that's definitely how Noah feels.
I feel like that's a little genderized. You're making them feel like girls are like weak, which I don't think, because we all know.
Well, it's like, I would
Kirsty
say,
will whip my ass. Maria would whip my ass.
I'm just saying it's like 95% dudes that leave the weights on.
Oh, for sure, though.
So that's why.
Yeah, and those are like the dudes that are like balls deep in the toxic masculinity world. Like, you're a douchebag, so of course you think you don't want your ego to be like hurt by any means of like, oh no, a girl's got to lift the weight, I couldn't. So not a fan of that thinking, but there are those people out there, and those are the people that leave weights behind for other people to put up for themselves, because they don't care about anybody else in the world but themselves.
Makes sense.
So if that's you, you can stop listening to us. We don't need your view, your listen, your like, none of it. But if you do want to change, everyone has room to grow in life. So we believe in you. if you have the desire and the will to change, you can do it.
Noah's triggered.
A little bit. What do you have a pet peeve this week? What gets in Garrett's go? This is on the spot, so let's see if you got anything. What's been pissing you off lately?
Honestly,
let's just talk all the negativity.
Honestly, I haven't been at like a commercial gym, so there's not really. Life's good right now.
Life's great.
Not too many pet peeves going
Living
on.
in utopia.
So, yeah.
That powerlifting world.
Yep. I mean, you see the owners of the gym every day, and they're the ones that are gonna have to clean it up if people don't put their weights back.
Yeah.
So everybody does.
They're also huge, so they actually probably would
accountability thing. So.
beat you up.
Yeah. So life's good. No pet peeves from me.
No pet peeves from Garrett.
Yeah. Happy guy. So.
Well, the start of this fall semester is coming up for OU, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot more pet peeves coming your way. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
Crowded
gym coming up real quick at 01.
All the freshies.
Yep. So moving on, we
just got shout out left. I think we have one universal podcast shout out this week. It's because it's kind of controversial.
Yeah, the much anticipated Westside versus the World came out on Netflix.
This is a documentary about the Westside Barbell, which is in Columbus, Ohio. Yep. It's actually a gym that Garrett's mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago on the podcast, explaining what conjugate training came from. And so this is actually shows exactly where conjugate training came from, but it shows the crazy culture that it derived from.
Yes, Westside is probably the craziest gym to work out at least in the United States. I don't know what they're doing in Russia. That could be different, but
which is actually where Louis Simmons got almost all of his inspiration from.
Yeah, so the whole movie is about how this method of training, known as a conjugate method, was created by Louis Simmons, who founded Westside Barbell. So you get to see the whole process of how his powerlifting career kind of came and went with injuries, and how he developed this method of training, and kind of the results of that, and the controversy that surrounds this gym. So definitely a great watch. I mean,
yeah, I give it honestly a 9 out of 10. You should watch it if you're into at all anything fitness related. I'm not a powerlifter, as we all know, but I love the film for the film in and of itself, not just for the gym, because there were so many moments where I was like, ooh, yikes, I don't know about that. Just the culture, the way it's run, the amount of steroids are probably going through there, just the mindset of rest and healing and letting your body recover, and then the whole controversy versus raw and gear. It was just has a lot of things in it where you're going to be oohing and eyeing, but also kind of be taken back for a couple seconds.
Yeah, and definitely there was some strong feedback that I saw on social media too regarding it. It's funny because a lot of the RPG lifters were watching it. This is the way a lot of them train, so it's it's relatable. Obviously, the culture is so much different than Westside. It's just so much more building people up than this is war between people at Westside. But then you see, you get the other side of it. You get the what do we call it? The raw powerlifting elitists that think that Westside's basically a joke, and just that this is bad for for powerlifting as a whole. And
yeah, a lot coming out of the woodwork. There's a lot of the extremes on both sides, the extreme of Westside and the extreme of the elitist raw powerlifters kind of thing. And then we're somewhere in the middle, because we're definitely not on the elitist side. Wow, you kind of sound like a stuck up douchebag right now, but we're also not in the gym slapping each other across the face and not letting someone come back because they missed a lift that they actually probably shouldn't be hitting anyway. So,
and I think what a lot of people fail to understand about Westside is that for a lot of those guys, that is their whole life. The schedule they train with and stuff like that, they can't have a regular job. They're training in the morning at 9 or 10 o'clock. And so this means so much to them, and then you pour extra testosterone on top of that, and that's why you have the fighting and everything else that goes on there, because this is this is their life. So if they get kicked out of the gym or they're not producing, like, they're done.
Yeah. I think one of the coolest things, though, about watching it was honestly just watching someone put 1,200 pounds on their back and squatting, whether it was in a suit, whether they hit depth or not. I honestly, like, 1,200 pounds on your back is 1,200 pounds on your back.
Right. And I mean, you can't, like, watching something, you can't get upset about what the judges call. You can't get upset at the lifter for what the judges are doing.
Oh, for sure.
So, I mean,
I felt like it came out like a David Hoff, like, fan. But I was, like, the only person from the full thing. I was like, oh my gosh, I relate to you.
Yeah, I mean, you can only control what you can control. I mean, obviously, there's games they play where they know they're not going fully to depth, but that's where it falls on the judges to, enforce the rules that are in the federation. So you get, like, the elitist side is, kind of takes jabs at geared lifting and stuff like that. But
do you think you'll ever do geared lifting?
I don't know if I ever will personally, but I know, like, I train around geared lifters, and I know if they had the gear off, they'd still be a hell of a lot stronger than me. So yeah. I have respect for it. You can't compare the numbers straight across, but a lot of those guys, if they take the gear off, they're still super strong.
Right.
And like the guy said in the film, he's, trying to build the strongest squat or the strongest bench. Not necessarily if it's raw versus geared, just the most weight he could possibly move, which is going to be geared. So,
yeah, and then they even talked about this guy that could barely, like, in the back before this competition, he could barely lift 400 off the bench, and then he went and put a bench shirt on, and then he, like, 620, like, flew up kind of thing. Like, it's just a vast difference, but both of those are still, right, like, incredible, but just shows, like, the amount of impact, like, gear can have on you, where you're actually... It's not just to put up higher weight, like, it's actually safer in a lot of ways too.
Yeah, and I think the problem is that people will get hurt, like, their ego will hurt because they'll see some guy benching 650 in a shirt, and they're like, well, he probably isn't stronger than me. How is he benching 650? I'm only benching 325. They'll get hurt by the fact that someone's doing twice as much weight as them, instead of just, like, taking a step back and saying, okay, like, you can't compare raw to geared lifting. That just doesn't... You can't do it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're not following any of this, go check out the film. It's on Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, or if you're not stealing someone's Netflix, you are wrong. It's 2019. How dare you? But get on Netflix. Get yourself a bowl of, like, popcorn, or if you're into macros, a bowl of air. And just sit and watch. It's a really good documentary that we definitely recommend over here on the podcast.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see fitness as someone's entire life. It's crazy. And Louis is a madman. He's developed, and I mean, that's why the program of the method of training that is conjugate is so controversial, is because of his gym. I feel like if they were less controversial, it would be a lot more accepted by everybody else.
I don't think it's the conjugate training that's so controversial per se, because if you look, like, they had so many, like, elite strength and conditioning coaches of all these different, like, Division I college programs, NFL programs, that were on there testifying about it and how it works for them. And, like, people like Stipe, who comes out of Ohio but used to be the UFC heavyweight champion of the world. Even, like, he still trains that way and everything. And
I think a lot of it's more recent. So yeah. I think they're, because of the history, I mean, they've been around for 30, 40 years. The gym has. So
right.
I think the history of it kind of scared people away for a long time. And now people are seeing, like, okay, the results are still coming out. Like, we should apply this in other ways, basically. So
yeah. So before you know it, Garrett's going to be have 1,200 pounds on his back. Heard it here first, Garrett. That's his new goal.
Yeah.
If he doesn't succeed, you're no longer friends.
I'll die. I'll just put it on my back and just let it crush me. So
that's happened to me, even if I had, like, 500 on my back right now. So
yeah, and I would probably have talked him into it too. So
no, the last time you talked me into doing a PR, it didn't turn out well. You gotta listen to your body. Unlike Westside, we listen to our bodies over here.
Yes.
But that's our segment for today for a shout out. Go give that a good listen or a good watch. And now all we got for you is Nathan Waak.
Yeah, enjoy the episode, Nathan. This is not the end of the episode, so make sure you keep listening.
Yeah.
And enjoy.
See you guys. Okay, and we're here with Nathan Waak. That's right, it's not Waak. It's not Wake. It's Nathan Waak. And we're going to walk you through Nathan's story today. So welcome to the podcast, Nathan.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nathan is one of our best listeners, I'd say, without a doubt.
So if you're lucky enough, you can compete for the listening award of the year, and you might get on the podcast someday, just like Nathan has.
Pays off, guys.
Yeah.
Pays off.
There's like Blake's of the year for like if you listen to like Barstool Sports, like PMT for mostly lifting stuff. There's the Nathan Award. So your name's Nathan. Come try it out.
Let's get after it, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nathan, tell us a little bit about why you're here.
Well,
I heard you're like the hardest worker known to man. So like
I try to be.
Big
I
balance
certainly
guy.
try to be. So I'm just all about doing as much as I can to get as much done as I can in a day in everything that I can do. So I met Garrett through Oakland, through engineering school. I'm a mechanical engineering student graduating in August in 2 or 3 weeks from the time we're recording this. Met him through the FCA prep program, and that's where we both work now. So
First of all,
engineering.
Congrats. Secondly, you're a listener on a regular occasion, so like how do you feel when I like call out engineers for being nerds?
Well,
Does that go over well, or is
the
it
fact
just like
that I'm usually
whatever?
listening at work while I'm doing testing to then hear you call us out, it adds a dynamic.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool.
Yeah. See, so like at work, we really don't have to be like social all the time. So
Because
like,
you're engineers, yeah?
that's where you start listening to podcasts. Like you feel like you're like actually having conversation with people. Like I could swear like I've talked to Joe Rogan like 10 times, and, like, just from all the times I've listened to him. So.
I was talking to him this morning anyways, so I mean.
Yeah, I just want friends, so I'm not an engineer, so I just fill out the lack of friends with listening to podcasts. So
Okay, that makes sense. So what else? I mean, engineering. I know you do formula.
Right. So my first 2 years at Oakland, I was part of the Formula SAE team, which is basically you can only get so big of an engine, so big of a motor. Basically, you take a motorcycle engine, you build a whole formula style frame around it. It's an open wheel type formula car design, and they race it at the end of the season. So you get the whole 2 semesters to build it, then you race it in May, June, July.
like race, do you guys actually drive it?
Yeah, students get to drive it. Student built, student driven.
It's badass.
So that was my first 2 years. That's what actually got me into Chrysler before the prep program. Is I met my current boss through his advising the team. So that was just making connections, being a people's person with the team, and then meeting people at Chrysler.
Yeah. So I can already, from everything you've already shared, and you haven't even shared everything yet, but you're a busy dude. You got a lot going on, and you're trying to optimize your time throughout the day. How do you fit in nutrition, and how do you fit in going to the gym in that crazy, hectic schedule?
Right. So we'll take a step back a couple of years now. It was, I believe, the summer after my freshman year. I started working at a powerhouse just as the desk boy, making smoothies and checking in guests. That's what really started me big into fitness. I'd always been lifting since high school before then, but that's where I met all the connections that I have today and really took a big step into nutrition. Was the biggest thing I learned there. I was eating like 6 meals a day, 2 chicken breasts a meal, a cup of brown rice and green beans and broccoli. And that was just, I was that guy at the gym. I'd have my meals every shift, be eating every hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, you're a Tupperware guy. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, Tupperware guy. So that's where I really started diving into the nutrition. And now for me, it's jumping back to present day. I've kind of dialed it in, figuring out what my body really likes and what works for my schedule. So luckily, intermittent fasting works pretty well for me right now. I'll have my coffees in the morning, but I really won't eat until 1 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon. So that's towards the end of my work day at Chrysler, and then I can have my first meal. It's usually chicken breast still. I mean, I'm very into my routine.
Yeah.
Always chicken breasts, always vegetables, not so many carbs or starches nowadays, so just chicken and vegetables, some kind of sauce on it. And I've been getting into meal replacement shakes. So like Red Cotton 1 has MRE. That's their protein type shake.
I've seen that at GNC and Vitamin Shop, and MREs are like the worst experience of my life because MREs in the military are just shit meals. So I haven't tried those out yet, but you're saying good go-tos?
Yeah, great go-to. So I'll have my meal at work, then I'll get in the car, either head over to school to study or head home to do some work there, and I'll have my MRE shake that way. And so that's my second meal of the day. And then usually I try to get my workouts maybe down to an hour and a half, just to really get in, get my work done, and get out so I can get onto everything else. But it's just kind of figuring out the scheduling, figuring out what I need to get done in the day, setting all that up before I get started in my work routine, and then just executing on everything. Knowing that I can move some stuff further if it takes me longer. I can kind of bump some stuff in my schedule, but having the priorities of, okay, I got to cook meals for the rest of the week tonight. I got to get to the gym this many days a week.
Yeah.
It's just little things like that.
So how do you feel when you hear people or you talk to some people and they're just like, I don't have time. I don't have time to cook. I don't have time to meal prep. I don't have time to get in the gym.
That's the biggest excuse, right? For people that are struggling to reach their goals. Like that's what I don't have the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know besides even like just working in the car stuff, you're involved with a lot of other things too.
Yep.
So, like, what is your thoughts, when you hear people saying that they don't have the time?
Or not just your thoughts, but also what would you tell them to find the time? What can you give them to like really be able to kind of challenge that thought that they don't have time and have them realize the perspective of like, okay, I need to shift the intentionality or something like that behind it so they can find the time.
Right. It's certainly a usable excuse just to start out for some people because maybe they just don't have their lifestyle set up properly yet. They don't really have their priorities set. They don't know what their goals are. So, I mean, you're working towards something, but you don't know what you're working towards. How are you going to actually know what you do and do not have time for?
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to really setting up what you want to get out of whatever you're working towards, what you're really looking to pursue, and what you really want to make a priority in your life. Time commitments, yes, everybody struggles to get everything done in a day that they want to, but we all have the same 24 hours. So when you know other people are getting more work done than you really got to take a deep dive into what you're doing in your routines and figure out what can you improve on. What are you slacking on? Where are you giving yourself maybe a half an hour too much on one thing, half an hour too much on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram in a day? Where can you cut that back and then apply it to whatever other goals you have? Maybe that's another half hour of cardio or half an hour of lifting weights that you can get in.
So have you always had this kind of discipline as far as when it comes to managing your time, or was there a point in time where you kind of like looked at yourself and said like, hey, I need to be better at this?
This is definitely not something I was born with, unfortunately, because I would have been way more productive through high school than it was. It was the real kicker for me was actually reading or listening to an audiobook to Jocko Willink's Extreme Discipline. Or Extreme Ownership. And just trying to take the principles he applies in that book that he's developed through his whole career in the military and now his career in the business world and applying those little things to my life, taking ownership of where I'm failing and doing all the little things now to really improve on the little things to help make up the big gaps.
Yeah. If you haven't ever heard of Jocko, he is probably my go-to, like if I'm sucking, like especially like if I'm cutting, I'm on the Stairmasters, like minute 30, I'm going for 40 that day or something like that. I have like 5 or 10 minutes to push out. I'll YouTube Jocko motivation, and you will not quit. Like whatever you're doing, you'll be able to do for 5 to 10 more minutes. So he is just an inspiring, motivational guy. But also what you're talking about is the key, what I hear, is the little things. You said that several times. A lot of people, they want to see these big shifts, these big changes, or they just feel like there's too much to change, so I'm not going to change at all. But it's really working on like one thing at a time and just slightly critiquing yourself, which is opening availability to change something else down the road. And I think that's like excellent.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't become a bodybuilder. You can't compete in shows until you get the little things down. You can go and lift all the weights you want, but if your nutrition isn't on point, you're not going to gain the size and you're not going to get toned. You can work on your strength as much as you want, like Garrett, and work to become a power lifter, but if your nutrition isn't on point, you're not going to make the leaps you should within your lifts.
Exactly. I mean, you have to set yourself up in so many ways, or else, you're going to run into these other issues. You know, you might be able to get by with only checking a couple of the boxes for a while, but then your nutrition's bad, you're not recovering properly, so then you start getting hurt. You know, then you start going through the other things. So I know you've gone through some injuries. So what was that like? I mean, being a person, like, you've gone through injuries, you are this crazy busy schedule, like most people would be able to like turn on that and using it as an excuse. So like, what injuries have you been through, and how can you like keep those in perspective while you keep moving forward?
Sure. So my family has a history of back issues such as herniated discs. My uncles both have herniated discs, and my brother suffered them through high school. And I started to see some early signs of that with some lower back pain. Just, it wasn't getting better. I kept going to the gym, was trying to work through it. It just wasn't getting better week after week. So I kind of sucked up my pride, and I started seeing the chiropractor. Got some x-rays done. L4 and L5 were slightly out of whack. So I was just getting that adjusted for about a year and a half. And I took that time to really dial in nutrition. I made that my staple at that point. It was just, okay, I know I can't lift the weights right now, but I can still jog on the treadmill. I can still do some body weight stuff. So I'm going to focus on those things. I'm going to still eat my food. Going to go back to kind of maintenance calories at that point, and then be able to come back just full force when I can get back in the gym full time.
Yeah, I really appreciate that perspective and approach you took, because I had very similar injury with rupturing discs, and I let that win for so long because I was always focused on what I couldn't do, or what the doctor said I shouldn't do, or what I used to be able to do but it's impossible now to do. And it took a long time for me to change that perspective and look at what you're talking about and seeing, where can I work right now? What can I do? What am I available of doing? And that not be brought down by that, but let that motivate me, because those are the small shifts. Like, you start doing those little things, and then you can start doing a little bit more and a little bit more. And I'm guessing, by the way you look and the way you're living your life, like, it might have started by doing just like running on the treadmill and doing body weight stuff, but now that's really allowed you to go back into like lifting the weights.
For sure. Yeah, I just started actually on Jeff Nippard's upper lower size and strength program. Shout out to Jeff again. That was a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
I just joined up at a new gym back in May, and I started his program on
Which program?
the upper lower size and strength.
Okay.
So
I haven't done that one yet.
Just kind of focusing on getting my big major compound lifts up in weight, because I got to catch up to this guy over here at some point, maybe.
That's that might be a race you'll never catch up with.
There's a big body weight difference though.
Yeah, there is.
To be fair.
Yeah, Garrett, he was just telling me he bought new pairs of jeans, and he bought like the bigger than relaxed fit, and they're basically like skinny jeans on them. So
Sounds
it is what it
yeah,
is.
he's got some tree trunks.
My mom's been killing me lately because I've just been growing out of all my clothes. I'm up to larges and XLs and shirts, and I'm up to like a 36-inch waist because my just quads and hamstrings don't fit into the actual regular cuts.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Here's my tip: if you're listening to this and you have trouble fitting into jeans, get those flex fits. All right, spend a little money, get the flex, and the dance floor is yours to go after. So
The ones I just got are basically sweatpants, so
Yeah, they're the
comfortable.
It's the way you have to go.
it's the only way you can go if you have big legs.
But yeah, so I just started this program about early May, so I'm about 10, 11, 12 weeks into it.
Oh, wow.
I've just been taking it at my own pace. It's supposed to be a 6-day split,
right.
3 days up or 3 days lower, but I've just kind of been taking it, feeling out my body every day, seeing what I can and cannot do.
That's a good approach, because I did like the first 2 weeks of that. I got it from a friend, and so I was trying out the upper lower. And that's a lot of volume and a lot of stress, especially on, I would say, legs. Like to do that 3 days a week and always have like only 1 day in between, and I was already like kind of nursing a knee thing. It was just too much. So like I was just like, maybe someday, but not today.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I really started real conservative with all my weights on my lifts. So like starting out back squat, like, hey, I'm supposed to go for max. This is my heavy back squat day, 2x5, 225. Just throw it up, just get through it.
Yeah.
And then it's just been slowly increasing all the weights since then. Really focusing on the progressive overload. Excuse me there. And now I'm just starting to reach that first plateau. So we'll see where it goes from there.
That's the important thing too. Like, so many people will just like buy a program or get into something. They'll, the program will say, "Oh, insert your maxes here," and it'll fill in like the table or whatever. And so people will throw in their maxes from their best all-time lifts, whether they were a week ago,
3 years ago,
3 years ago, and they're just like, "Oh, these are my maxes. That's what's going in." And your body, you're not going to be able to recover or respond from that. Like, you have to get a feel for what you're doing first, and if you're not used to those type of loads, you're not gonna make it through a program. You have to like intelligently implement it to be able to have anything that's sustainable.
Yeah,
I know I've done that before, where I'll start a program and it's like a week in, I'm just like fried, or like 2 weeks in, it's just like, well, I am gonna die if I do this for a few months. So,
and that's actually the reason why when there's a good structured program, like the point of the program is not to be lifting the most weight that you can every single week. Like, you're not going to be your strongest self every single day you go in the gym. The point of a program, much like Nathan was just saying, is progressive overload. So like, you're going to see the results down the road, and especially Jeff's programs are specifically designed this way, where at the beginning of a lot of programs I've tried of his, I'm like, this isn't enough. But like, when you give it time, you trust the science behind it, you trust the way progressive overload works, it also brings like this peak several weeks down the road where you will be your strongest self and your maxes will probably go up. But also, like what Garrett was saying, what he's really helped me in the gym with over the last year is really working with technical maxes, especially when I'm on programs. Like, what can I go in the gym and do with proper form and do pretty much any day I go in the gym? Like, if I really wanted to, like, what's the most I can lift without hurting myself or losing form? And those are the numbers I always use for within my program.
Right. So that's, like the idea of like your technical limit, I think that's like such a beneficial tool if you're focusing on longevity, you're focusing on, making small, like, but small substantial gains though. Like, that's important to an extent. And it was funny because I was actually talking to one of the coaches at RPG last week though, and he was describing some of the training they do as training outside of that technical limit. Because like for powerlifting,
right,
you get on the platform, if your form breaks down, are you just going to drop the bar? Like, this is like, say you have a chance to win a meet or do, break a big record. Like,
yeah, a rep's a rep, even if it's a clean rep or kind of a dirty rep. If it's
right, so are you going to say like, oh, like in my round of my back, I'm just going to drop this deadlift?
Right.
So what they do to protect for that, because powerlifting is a little bit different, is they'll actually train outside of that technical limit. So maybe you're doing block pulls with a rounded back, so you're training those muscles so that if you do end up in that situation on a max, you're able to protect yourself, which I thought that was pretty interesting because I hadn't ever really thought that way.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I will put it like an asterisk next to this. As someone who does not train powerlifting, I am not going to do that. Like, I'm not training to go compete to win a show and pull amount of weight where like it's putting my own, I would say, safety at risk. But the reason why they're doing it is because they're premeditatively like going to put their safety at risk, and they know this, so they're going to train for the absolute max.
Right. So you're preparing for the worst case scenario, basically.
Yeah.
Which, if you're an everyday gym goer, but you never plan on competing, like if you're gonna hit a max, if your back starts rounding or something, there's no need to pull right through that. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're going to live to see another day, and you're going to take your time and hit that max. So
yeah, I don't test maxes very often, but I went for one yesterday, and it went well. Got a new PR by 50 pounds actually on squat. 50 pounds. Yeah, quite the jump. I think my anecdote to that would be it's all calories, because last time I tested, I was in a deficit, so that was kind of dumb. It was the beginning of a deficit, but still. Garrett was there. I folded under 405 real quick, but yesterday definitely got 435. Pretty strong.
He'll claim that I talked him into it too.
He really did talk me into it. I was following a program of Jeff's, and I was like halfway through it, and he's like, "You can hit 405." I was like,
I think he asked me. He's like, "Do you think I can get that?" I'm like, "Yeah." Of course.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So being that you've gone through injuries and stuff like that, and are you eventually going to be like in a position where you're going to go back to like where you take maxes, or how do you feel about that, having been through what you have?
I'm not so worried about going for maxes and going specifically for anything right now. I'm really just trying to get back into the proper lifestyle that I was leading before, and lifting every week, lifting every day, getting back into it fully healthy before I really dedicate to, okay, I'm going to focus on maxing out my lifts, or I'm going to focus on bodybuilding or anything like that.
Okay. So how long were you kind of in limbo where you were dealing with the issues with your back, where you had to modify what you're doing?
It was about a year and a half of seeing the chiropractor anywhere from twice a week to every week, every 2 weeks. Obviously, the further along I got, the more I was kind of testing the waters with actually lifting weights. I certainly didn't hop right back to back squatting at all. But yeah, just kind of year and a half of feeling things out, seeing where I'm at, where I think I could be at soon, but then I definitely push it sometimes, then I'd be back at the chiropractor twice a week. So just kind of playing the game, testing the water, seeing what gave, and going around that way.
Yeah, figuring out what's best for you and what works for you.
Yeah.
An individualized approach.
Yeah, it definitely gave me a lot of time to think through form a lot more on all my lifts. So when I got back to back squatting, actually, I'd put 135 in the bar, and it wouldn't even be for reps. It'd just be for slow, clean reps. Not going for 10, 15, 20, just focusing on, okay, get my hip crease right, get down to depth, get down a little bit further than depth, really feel out my knees and my ankles, and see where my weak links are now. Because, 4, 5, 6 months without actually putting weight on your back, without doing any weightlifting at all, you're going to develop some new weak points within your whole body.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can imagine it'd be kind of strange having gone so long without doing something. And I'm sure feeling strong enough that you could do more, but having that restraint and not letting your ego decide what to put on the bar is probably pretty difficult.
For sure. And in hindsight, it definitely was a gift and a curse at the same time, because I couldn't lift weights, but it came at a good time within my academic career, where I was just hammering out classes, just trying to get through the degree, get through those year, 2, 3 semesters. So it gave me a lot of time to think through form and stuff on exercises, like I said, really dial in all of my lifting, and then dial in my academics as well.
So then you're training at Motor City right now?
Correct, yeah. I joined Motor City Iron down at Van Dyke and 15 Mile back in May. Been loving it.
I haven't been there.
I haven't been there either. I've seen lots of videos and stuff posted from there. It looks like they have a pretty good setup though.
Yeah, so they have 2 different levels of membership. So you have the general membership that gives you access to the main floor, and they have an upstairs. So it's 2 full sets of dumbbells, they have 3 flat benches, 2 incline benches, a decline bench, full set of pulleys and machines, and the whole upstairs is all like hammer strength machines. And then additionally, they have just a powerlifting membership, which is it's a whole separate room. You badge in there separately, and it's wonderfully set up. Spacious. They have all their calibrated weights in there, and it's a very nice, clean setup.
Wow.
Yeah.
That seems like a legit gym. I know that we're kind of been talking about, like, we're really interested in what the best overall gym is in, like, the Metro Detroit area. Like, we shout out RPG all the time simply because Garrett goes there, and it's probably the best powerlifting gym that I've been to. We haven't been to all of them. But then I'm also really curious, like, what's, like, the best in between? Not just bodybuilding, not just powerlifting, but, like, anybody who has their own like, niche within fitness, like, they like could go to this gym and they could really, like, excel there. But Motor City sounds like we're gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, you guys should come along sometime.
Yeah, it's such a balance too, getting a good gym. You have to have, the equipment's got to be right, but at the same time you also have to have the people there that are putting in the work, and you know what I mean? Like, that's part of what makes a great atmosphere. Like, not to bash Lifetime, but like, I've been to Lifetime, and it's just like, it's a social hour, which is great for the people that want it to be a social hour. But if you're there to get work in, like, sometimes it's kind of like, all right, like, there's nobody around you there's a few people there obviously, like, putting in work, but a large amount of people are just socializing, and that's not going to motivate you to work harder if you're there trying to get a workout in and trying to grind things out. So definitely having that pressure, that just feeling of, hey, everybody around here is working their ass off. Like, I need to do my part. That definitely makes a big difference.
So apparently, if you go to Lifetime, Garrett thinks you're not a real lifter, and he just completely wrecked any and all chances of like Lifetime hearing our podcast and be like, hey, let's sponsor them, let's bring them in. But now,
well, if you are at Lifetime and you need personal training, my fiance.
Yeah, doesn't Rachel work there?
She's changing the atmosphere, man. That's what she's doing.
Oh my gosh,
she's there on a mission.
All right, Rachel, if you're hearing this, your fiance is shitting on you. So.
Definitely only had positive things to say about the personal training staff.
Yeah.
I mean, getting back into it, but even just starting out, you never know what you're doing. What your first couple months in the gym. I mean, back in high school, it was, okay, I saw this guy bench press once on YouTube, so let's go do that. He did like 3 plates, so we could do like 1.5 plates, and you're immediately humbled by that.
Yeah.
It just kind of, it's more of just the focus on, I like to take it every day at a time. Obviously with the program it's different because I'm trying to increase my weights every week, trying to increase all the volume I'm doing. But I try to take it to a point where I know certain days I can't hit the numbers I'm supposed to hit. So I try to adapt that, and I try to see what I can do to improve myself in a different way. For instance, like the deadlifting video I posted on my Instagram from Sunday, I went from pulling a 2x5 with 375 pounds the week before to attempting to pull 380 pounds this Sunday. But the difference was I lifted 375 at the end of the day after all my meals, and I tried to lift 380 right away in the morning at 5 a.m. with nothing in my system, and I failed out immediately. Barely got 3 reps in, and like I said, it humbled me. So I kind of took a step back, unloaded the entire bar, and just focused on hook grip, trying to work on that technique now. So it's just kind of one of those approaches where not trying to push it, not trying to work past my ego, but really taking a step back and looking at what the best thing for me would be in that situation.
I always find that so interesting of how even like the smallest factors make all of the difference in some days when you go in the gym. And some days when you miss a lift that you know you can hit, that you know you should hit, it just brings your whole workout to shit. Like, I've had several of those days where I'll just walk up to Garrett and be like, I feel like crap right now. But you're like, everyone's going to have those days. I'm sure, Garrett, you have those days, like even with powerlifting especially.
I mean, I've had 3 max effort days on the program I'm doing now, and I've been pinned 3 different times by weights, so I know how you feel.
Is it weird, though? Like, do you still get, like, sure, pissed off at yourself because you know you want to hit that weight, but do you feel at all like self-conscious or being like, fuck, like I just got pinned?
You know, I used to get a lot more upset about it. Like, I'd be like, it would just be like on my mind all the time afterwards. Like, why did I do that? Like, what should I have done better? Blah blah blah. But like, when you're training in an environment where there's so many people that can help you, like, I'm taking my wrist wraps off after my squat, and somebody says, hey, you should probably do these accessories today. Work on these weak points. So that's like, I don't have time to sit there and be all poopy pants about not hitting a squat. Like, I'm just like, well, I need to go pound those accessories, so next time I'm under that, I can hit that squat. So definitely when you're able to make adjustments and, put effort towards like your weak points, if you start doing that right away, like, I don't feel anxious about the squat I missed on Monday because I know, like, okay, I started working towards hitting that. So, and I know what I did wrong, which makes such a difference. Where if you don't know, or like you're not quite sure why you failed, it's just like, it's going to eat at you because you just don't, like, you fear that that's going to happen again and you won't be able to stop it.
Yeah.
So.
The thing I've really fallen in love with lately is trying to get to a point where I'm failing. Because I've always been scared of failing, not just because of like that poopy pants feeling you get after on your own self, but everyone else sees it and they're like, oh, is everyone watching me fail? Which is some bull crap, because like you said, when someone sees that, they're not thinking like, ha, he didn't get that weight, what a nerd. Like, they're literally looking out for you, like you're trying to help and everything like that. So I've really tried to have a lot more effort in the gym of having a mindset of if you're not failing, you're not really growing.
Yeah, and that was where I was at for a while. I mean, during my meet prep, the programming was pretty conservative, which it should be during a meet prep, just so that you are building confidence under the bar. I mean, I couldn't even remember the last time I failed a squat, though, like prior to that, just because, like, I just had not pushed those limits in a long time.
Yeah.
And so, like, not having that understanding for, okay, when shit hits the fan, what's the problem? Which, if it's a smoke show every time you go to the gym because you're just killing every lift, like, obviously you're becoming more confident, but at the same time, you don't know where you're going to break down. And especially if you're going to do powerlifting, that's what you need to train the most. So just being willing to accept that you're going to fail some of the time and just try like heck to make up for it with your other training.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you can do, really.
Yeah. And Nathan, I think you've been a great example of this, and you're even in the moment right now of your training. Where are you going in the future with your training? Like, what is your? I know for me, I have certain goals, and sure, they might be bodybuilding centric. Garrett, he has powerlifting like in his mind. Not even necessarily like, are you trying to compete or anything like that? But what are like kind of the goals you're trying to like hit and get and reach so you can continue to get better?
Yeah. So after starting on this program again, I got to 2 times bodyweight deadlift pretty quickly. So at this point, I'm going for 1.5 times bodyweight bench, 2 times bodyweight squat, and 2.5 times deadlift. So that's kind of overall goal. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get there, but
Right.
That's kind of the thing on the horizon I'm working towards right now. Besides that, it's all just functionality and living healthier and just being happier with how my body looks and how my body feels.
So, like, what's your typical schedule for a day? Like, I know if you're following Jocko, like, religiously, you're probably one of these guys that's up at, like, 4 or 5 a.m., so
I am. On the good days, I am. So I only work part-time right now at Chrysler, 24 hours a week. So it's generally like a 3-day work week for me. But I try to get in there by 5 a.m. So I'm up at 4, get into work at 5, work there until noon or 1. And then after that, it's either going to school for classes. I'm in our senior design engineering course right now, or I go to the library, or I'm going home to do anything, yard work at the house, or I'm going to the gym. It's all kind of dependent on the week and how I feel that day, but starting off early, getting everything I need to get done as soon as I can, and then jumping off to whatever's next.
Yo, I'm a lazy piece of shit. After you say that,
I was going to bed at like 3 or 4 o'clock every day.
Yeah. I'm still weirdly on like this midnight schedule from when I was working, but yeah, you make me feel like crap. So
It's definitely not something that just happened right away, though. I've been working towards getting up earlier and earlier over the past 2-3 years, but school definitely hasn't helped with it, because when you're staying up until 2 or 3 just working on projects or working on assignments or studying for the next exam, it's not really conducive to this kind of lifestyle of 4:30 a.m. wake
I was
ups.
literally just about to ask, like, what is your actual social lifestyle like? Do you find balance there? Is that something that is something you want to work on?
It's
I mean, I know you're an
definitely-
engineer, so like sociality is something like you're the biggest thing for you guys.
Yeah, that is the stereotype, and it's true in a lot of cases. I do my best to be as social as I can really handle in a week and in a month. Luckily, I feel like going from work and going to school and going to the gym, it's all different social spheres I get to interact with. So I get a lot of that just by doing the things I love to do right now. So it's not necessarily I have to go out and party with my friends on the weekend, but I go to the bar.
Garrett's a big partier,
Yeah,
guys. If you didn't
huge
know,
partier.
Garrett
Biggest
goes
partier.
for it
Literally,
all the time.
Like, people always ask me, like, go out and, like, go, wherever, and I'm like,
Never me. I never asked. Yeah.
never know, but it's always just like, I don't know, like, I just have like the social interaction at work, when I'm at school, when I'm at the gym, going home with like my family and stuff. It's just like I just don't feel like that need to have, like, some people go out several times a week. Like,
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think there's this weird stigma that like social hour and like balancing social life is going out and drinking and being out late at night and stuff like that. Like, I would rather combat that and have like quality over quantity, or the like illusion of quantity by like going out and drinking all the time, by being with places with people that like we have this common like bond, you know?
Right.
Exactly. And that's not to say that I don't go out with my friends and I'm just always on the grind, but because I still go out to the bar, I play pool with my friends, catch up with however many people a week.
Yeah, big keg stand guy, huh?
Oh, huge keg stand guy, I tell you what. But it's just, I enjoy doing the things I enjoy doing because of, one, the people that make it what it is, and the things that I gain from doing those things. So I don't really feel the need to go out and waste my time partying and drinking just because I can do anything else to really optimize my time. Because as an engineer, it's all about efficiency and optimizing my time. So I always want to get as much done in the day as I can, and most of the time, okay, I'll go out and have a few drinks, but I can't stay out all night because then that ruins my next morning, and I gotta be up for a workout. So it's just kind of those balances.
That's definitely like my mindset too. It's like, okay, the days I'm training, like I'm gonna get home and I'm gonna want to go to bed and like just chill. Like I don't want to go out somewhere after I've like had some crazy tough workout. So then it's like, all right, so on my rest days, is that the day I'm gonna go out? Because on my rest days, it's like now I'm like seriously wanting to relax.
Yeah.
And if you go out or you do something, you drink, and like maybe you don't feel so well the next day. Well, if it's a rest day, odds are the next day I'm going to the gym. So it's like, am I setting myself up for failure that way? So that's definitely something like I don't really try. I would probably benefit from trying to balance that in more. But for me, it's just like I don't really balance it at all. I just don't do it. It's like, I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah. Michigan summers though, that's weird. Like I feel like my life's a big teeter-totter. Like either like it's fall and winter and I have zero social life, never ever go out, hardly ever drink, and then there's summertime and it's like, okay buddy, reel it in now, all right, it's Wednesday. Like calm down.
I more try to just enjoy the weather, doing more other things with the people I want to see in the Michigan summers. Like my backyard's Maple Lane Golf Course down in Sterling Heights. So okay, it's Friday afternoon, nobody's on the golf course, I'm just gonna go enjoy a couple of rounds and do that instead of...
Are you one of those guys that you're in the gym, you get on like a cable machine and you're doing like the golf swings? Like
for sure. No.
Man, jealous of those guys.
See,
real deal.
Now you give me a hard time about not being super social and going out and all this stuff. But at the same time, when I text you to ask you to go golfing, like that's my idea of social time.
But your golfing hours are my lifting hours.
My golfing hours are in the morning, which is usually your sleeping hours.
Yeah. Not my lifting hours quite yet. But everything's in preparation. Got to like optimize my day, and if I go walk 9 holes with you, it takes so long. Then I gotta go eat, get all my other stuff done. I'm a regimented guy. Every day looks very similar.
That's all right. If the social time with me isn't worth it, that's fine.
I've asked you to go to Topgolf, where you can have your social time, I can have my social time. It can be a little mix of both. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe it'll happen one day.
So, aside from Jocko, is there anyone else that you really pull like motivation from, or you try to model the way you do things after?
Well, let's look at my list.
Always
my list in the back. I did podcast preparation, guys.
He's got a list of motivating people
and channels I follow.
Oh man.
Yeah.